The FDIC only guarantees bank deposits up to $250,000. And according to some reports, more than 90% of all deposits at SVB exceeded that. And it's unclear whether those people ever see their money again. In fact, when customers showed up at SVB's branch in Manhattan today to get their deposits back, managers called the police.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. Now, this is a very big story because the factors that led up to this bank collapsing are going to affect other banks. Now, will every bank collapse? I don't think so, but the factors are there. Before I get to the Fox News video, let's back up a little bit to explain what's going on just so we're on the same page with each other. Now, recently, maybe like a year ago, a few months ago, we had very low interest rates in this country, like next to 0%. Now, SVB made some moves during the time of very low interest rates. They accrued some debt. They were able to manage the debt with low interest rates, right? But when the interest rate goes from, let's say, 2% to 4%, all of a sudden they can't really manage it. So now they're trying to make moves and strike deals with companies to get more deposits to cover the debt. They couldn't do it. So after a while of trying to accomplish this goal, they had to go public and say, hey, we're about $2.2 billion short. And if we don't get that money, we're going to go under. So, of course, this caused a run on the bank. Regular people, businesses, big corporations, small companies, they took their money out of the bank. They took their stock out of the bank. So they lost just in the bank run, like I think $46 billion. So rather than needing the 2.2 billion, you lost 46 and change, and you are not just at zero money as far as your total company, not just at zero deposits, you're like negative almost $1 billion. So of course, the federales, they come through, they shut it down, and now the FDIC is taking over. Now, here's the thing about that. A lot of people are not going to get their money back unless there is a bailout, which, again, we're going back to 2008 with the bailouts, with the big financial crisis. And the reason why I say they probably won't get their money back, although there's FDIC insurance, is that 94% of the deposits were not insured, okay, because FDIC only covers up to $250,000. So if you have $1 million, $2 million, $5 million a year account, you might get $250,000 back, but you're not going to get the whole $5 million. You're still going to be quite a bit short. And I think, like I said, the only way for you to get all the money back would be if there's a federal bailout. Now, before I go any further, there's a clip from Fox News. Speaking about Tucker Carlson, he may give some more insight that I've not given. Of course, all the clips and the articles and my sources shall be in the description box below. If you want to see them on IG, link in the bio, visit my website and go to the corresponding article. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
We are starting to get a more precise sense of what it means when Joe Biden brags about the strongest and most equitable economic recovery in modern history. What it means is it could be time to buy gold and stockpile food. Oh, there's a deal on Russian steel case? I think I'll pick up a pallet. Just kidding, sort of. Yesterday, some of the biggest banks in this country, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, collectively lost more than $50 billion in market value in one day. That's quite a hit. On the other hand, those banks still exist, and you can't say that for Silicon Valley Bank. As of this morning, Silicon Valley Bank, or SVB, has gone under completely. That makes the second biggest bank failure in the history of this country.
Wow.
And it's significant. SVB financed nearly half of all venture-backed healthcare and technology companies in the United States. It also apparently held significant cash reserves for some of the biggest cryptocurrencies. And it's now gone. Federal regulators.
Now, let's pause on that. Didn't we kind of see this coming a little bit because of the whole, remember FTX? Now we have SVB. FTX was the whole thing by Sam Bankman-Fried, which was nothing but fraud, really. That was fraud going on there. Could there be fraud going on with Silicon Valley Bank? Perhaps, but I think this is more about mismanagement rather than outright fraud. Let's continue.
Regulators have renamed it and taken it over. And that means an awful lot of people lost an awful lot of money. And no, most of that money was not insured, no matter what they tell you. The FDIC only guarantees bank deposits up to $250,000. And according to some reports, more than 90% of all deposits at SVB exceeded that. And it's unclear whether those people ever see their money again. In fact, when customers showed up at SVB's branch in Manhattan today to get their deposits back, managers called the police.
Oh, my goodness.
So what we have here is a 1929-style bank run.
Imagine going to the bank to get your money out. Your money, this is yours. It belongs to you. Imagine going to the bank trying to get your money and they call the police. Get away from here. Stop trespassing. I can't get my own money. Wild. Wild. So a quick lesson before we continue with the video. If you have more than $250,000 in the bank account, I don't think that's wise. I think I saw one of these, it might have been Floyd Mayweather, and he had a receipt from a checking account and it had like $200 million in cash. I'm like, what are you doing? Bernie Madoff had like $4 billion in one Chase account, like a regular checking account. It's like, what are y'all doing? If the bank goes under, you're going to lose all that money.
And that's not a good sign for anyone. The question is whether the people who run SVB saw it coming. The CEO, a man called Greg Becker, apparently sold more than $2 million in bank stock over the last 2 weeks. According to the site Unusual Whales, several other high-level employees of SVB, including Chief Marketing Officer Michelle Draper, Chief Operations Officer Phil Cox, General Counsel Michael Zuckert, all sold significant amounts of stock in SVB this year.
Now, wouldn't it be considered insider trading? Because you know the bank's about to collapse. You know that there's not much hope for the bank. You kind of see what's good. These are very smart people to be in the banking industry, to be in high-level positions like that. They kind of know what's going on. They must have seen this coming. They knew they couldn't cover their debt. They knew it would be a federal takeover, possibly a bailout. So rather than just losing all the value of your stock, you could just say, okay, I'm going to sell it right now. Isn't that insider trading? It's funny how they probably won't go to jail for that, but whatever.
Did those employees know their bank was in trouble?
Yes.
We don't know.
Of course.
And once again, where were the regulators who were supposed to prevent this? Once again, we don't know. And the business press supposed to be telling ordinary people what's happening with business? Apparently, nobody noticed anything. In fact, as with the FTX crypto scam, you may recall, self-described financial experts in the media were busy promoting Silicon Valley Bank as a great investment that would last forever. The formerly great but now quite embarrassing Forbes magazine, in fact, named SVB to its list of America's best banks, not once, but 5 years in a row.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. So that's that. There's more to that particular clip right there. It's just a shortened version. Again, I'll link to everything in the box below. But that's what's going on here with SVB. The bank has collapsed. It's now been renamed, and the FDIC taking it over, the federal government taking it over. So maybe you get your money back if you've not gotten it back yet. If you weren't part of that $46 or so billion bank run and you still have money there, maybe you get your money back. If it's FDIC, you'll get $250,000 back. If you have more than that, hey, it's going to take a bailout from the U.S. government. That's what's going to happen, I think, in my humble opinion. But this is kind of scary because I think other banks may be having the same kind of issues. You made moves during a time of very low interest rates to be able to gain capital, to be able to lend out money, whatever you're doing. Now that the rates have gone up from the Federal Reserve, you're not really going to be able to afford it. He said the other banks lost a bunch of money in one day, like $50 billion. What about some of the smaller banks? What about your bank that you go to? Only time's going to tell, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here with SVB? Are you surprised at what's happening, considering what's happened before in this country, going back to the Black Tuesday, whatever that was, in the early 1900s with the stock market crash, going back 2008 with the bailout? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys should know where I'm at. I'm not really surprised here. It's unfortunate, but you got a bunch of people that are in banking that don't know what they're doing, bad policy. And beyond that, there is a recession going on. Really, we don't want to talk about it. We don't really want to address it, but there's hard times going on. We had the whole thing with the scamdemic. You still have supply chain shortages, labor shortages. Everything's costing more, inflation. All these economic factors are going to lead to things like this going on. And then you add on top of that mismanagement, and incompetence, you got a recipe for disaster. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.